I was fortunate enough to be a part of the first group that was selected to be a part of the Starlink's beta testing program. I got my unit back in early February of 2020. At the time, it was like getting a ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. I live in a very remote area that's probably one of the most beautiful places to live, but the downside is we have the slowest internet on the planet. Our landline speeds are only about 3 to 5 megabits per second. So there was a lot of hype when Starlink first came out. I uploaded a video onto YouTube, it got a lot of views, and Wall Street Journal actually found it. And they contacted me and came out and did an interview with me and my family, and we were featured on one of their episodes. At one point, Elon even tweeted a picture of my hand. So every time Starlink launched new satellites, I was waiting and waiting and waiting. I would get onto fast.com, check the speeds, see if our speeds are getting any faster. I mean, we're getting good speeds, like probably anywhere from 80 to 100 megabits per second. So as the months went on and Starlink is launching more satellites, I'd anxiously get onto fast.com and see if our speeds are getting any better. And things kind of rolled on and tapered off, and we didn't really hear a lot of news. One day, we finally got a bombshell. Not only did we find out that Starlink is not going to increase the speeds of the basic package. If you want higher speeds, you have to buy a more expensive dish for $2,500, and the subscription is $500 a month. This is pretty disappointing, with the idea that we were kind of baited along that speeds are going to get faster and faster. I'm hoping that SpaceX makes the basic subscription a little cheaper and maybe has a mid-tier somewhere between the $500 and the lower tier. So if you want a little more speed, you can pay a little bit more, but definitely not $500. That's out of reach for a lot of people. So other than that, Starlink has been really good for the last year and a half. I set my dish up a year and a half ago, and I haven't touched it since. The very first units were constructed very robust. However, the second generation units aren't made as good as the first. They feel plasticky and kind of like toys. The plugs are basically like Android plugs. There's one that plugs into the dish and one into the router. There's no longer an Ethernet plug on the basic router itself. You have to pay some extra money to get a plug. So even with all these disappointments, if you're living in a rural area, Starlink is still your best option for internet. Don't even think about HughesNet or Viasat. That's out of the question. That service sucks. I've been there and done that. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions, comments, or subjects you'd like me to cover on Starlink, let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do.